Hello Ronlings. This is a tent camp because I do camper van and tents. I go back and forth. Something for everybody, as they say. Certainly that's why I do it for me. I get a lot out of it. And today I'm at a campsite. It's an unusual one for me. I normally do stealth camping because I don't want to pay for it. But I'm kind of exhausted in a good way because I only get 4 days off. I do a 4 on 4 off shift. I only get 4 days off, and I've camped 3. This will be the 3rd night. Yeah, so the maximum you can only count when I'm off is 3. So I haven't actually slept at home yet. I've been home, but I've not slept at home. So I'm quite tired, and in a good way. But I thought I'm going to just. This is a relatively cheap campsite. I've been here before. I'm just going to pay to come here, so I don't have to carry anything. I just pull it out straight out of the van because I want to do a tent camp because I really enjoy that side of things, and I want to just pull it out, plop it on the grass, and just enjoy the moment and not have anything too difficult because this weather we're in a heat wave and it's so hot. There's lots. Normally I mix everything up. I do a bit of because I'm doing DIY and we're doing a massive gardening project, and I'm doing a DIY at the moment, so I usually do a bit of that and then a bit of camping. But it's been so hot, it's been, in my opinion, dangerous to be lugging wheelbarrows of heavy earth around and stuff like that. I think especially if I'm not the healthiest of people, I think it would be dangerous. So I've not been doing that, and I've been compensating with the camping, which has been a wonderful experience. But I am kind of exhausted, so I wanted an easy camp. Today is going to be a fun one. I always do this. I always adjust after I've started filming. It's so unprofessional. That's me. I did an order from Temu. I turned off. I got notifications of Temu every 30 seconds saying do this, do that, do this, and I'm like, oh, it's so exhausting. So I turned off the notifications, but I still go to the website every time I've got some spare time, and the notifications that would have sent you go into your inbox. So I just go through them all. They're giving me offers all the time, and so I just look through the offers until I see something I like, and I did a shop for items under £2. I wanted to see if there's anything relevant to my channel there. Not just relevant to the channel, but something I would actually think I could use as well. I'm not going to just buy things willy-nilly. So I've got a load of stuff with me today that I wanted to try out. That was another reason for staying at a campsite, is so that it's just easier to do, really. So I'm going to try out all these little Temu things I bought for under £2, and we'll see. That was the offer. You know, there was loads of different offers, and one of them was everything under £2. So I did the £2 shop. Now, I bought loads more stuff because there was loads of stuff that wasn't actually relevant to camping. I just saw them and thought, oh, that's nice. So I've only bought obviously the camping ones, but there's a couple of ones in there that I'm actually genuinely interested to see how they work, and if it works, it might even make things better for carrying stuff and reducing the weight and stuff. We'll see how it goes. So, first thing on the Temu list is pegs. These little pegs. They have a thread on them, so, well, they didn't say any instructions on it. It looks like you can wind them in. And because they've got a massive thread on them, they're probably more grippy. Light as a feather because they're only plastic. Would have liked them would have liked them to have been a bit longer because it's quite short, but they are really fat. They've got a really nice big thing. And what I was thinking was that the tent I've bought today, which I'll show you in a minute, the vestibule is one zip down the center of the vestibule. When you unzip it, one side is your door and the other side is usually stationary. You can't roll it back, but it's usually stationary, and you zip the door to the stationary bit. So that whole vestibule is hanging off essentially one peg, you can peg the other door up, because you're in and out. It means you're unpegging it and pegging it up and pegging it. It's not really practical. So basically the whole vestibule is hanging off of one peg. I was just wondering if these would be any stronger and any better. So that's experiment one. Yeah, I know there's down the pegs and all that rubbish, but these are like under £2 and they look like they might do the job. We will see. There's no point in going straight for your 7 kajillion pound pegs that can hold a building down. You know, if you can find another way that's cheaper. We'll see. And they are really light because they're plastic. They are really super light. So, you know, if you're getting a stronger peg and it's lighter, Bob's your uncle. Right, so I sat and questioned whether to film it or not, but I guess there was nothing really to tell you. They don't work. If the ground was really soft, maybe. The ground's not hard, but it's not particularly soft either. So we'll say normal conditions. And I pushed and I pushed, and I started to tap it in because they're flimsy. You can't really bash them in. I tried to twist it and twist it and twist it, and all it was really doing was pulling, you know, the old Archimedes screw. It was just pulling the dirt up the thread. It wasn't actually going in. So I put all my weight on it, and it kind of semi started to go in. But after, I don't know how long, a few minutes, it took so long, I was thinking it ain't worth it. So these, waste of money. I probably could use them in other areas. I'm pretty sure if the ground was softer, you'd be able to knock them in halfway and then screw them the rest, but I'm not sure that's worth doing by the time you've done that. You know, so nah, not really. Didn't really work. The idea was sound. You know, you just screw them in, really thick threads. Bosh, that's not going anywhere. You know, rather than a peg that's smooth that can be pulled out. These are so the idea was sound, but nah, not really. So I can't help thinking I want to keep them in case they're useful for something, but I can't think what that'd be. But they're kind of that sort of thing where I think, ooh, you know, but I can't keep hold of them. But nah, if I'm honest, no. First Temu thing failed. Temu 2. You can't go wrong with this one. It's a sit mat. It's very flimsy, very thin, but I was confident with this because I have, it's over there somewhere now, I have a sit mat. It was bought for me by my daughter for Christmas and birthday donkeys years ago, and it was exactly the same as this, exactly the same quality as this, and it's still going now, but it's so thin because I kneel on, a lot of my vestibules don't have a ground sheet, so you kneel on them while you're going in the tent, sorting stuff out, pumping up your bed and stuff, and it's had 2 years of kneeling, and it's as thin as a piece of paper. It still holds up. It's still, you know, all the seams are there, and so I was quite happy to get another one the same quality. And this one, as far as I can tell, looks exactly the same except for a different colour. So you can't really go wrong with that. I'm going to put it hither like that. There she blows, and that's what goes out the side of all my tents while I kneel on them. And indeed, last time I went camping, I didn't bring my chair on purpose because I didn't think I'd be using it, and then the weather all was lovely and I wanted it, but I sat on the sit mat because it's a sit mat. You know, so I bring that with me all the time. It's light as a feather, takes up no space, and I bring it with me all the time, and it's a good little buy. And this one looks exactly the same quality, so I'm pretty sure it's going to go down the same way, so you can't really go wrong with that. Under £2, can't go wrong with that either. I've talked about this before, so yeah, I'm paranoid, people watching me. I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into detail because I've talked about it on other episodes. But one thing I thought was worth mentioning is that my tent is now, in my opinion, become my best tent. It was the Van Gogh. Oh, I'm terrible with the names. It's a two-man Van Gogh. I keep getting it mixed up with a different Van Gogh. Oh, what was it? The Van Gogh Hydra. Is it the Hydra 200? I can't remember. Look at my other videos. That was my favourite tent. It was a 2-man tent. I absolutely loved it. I still do, don't get me wrong, I still do. I really do love it. It's better quality than the tent that I think is my favourite. Certainly it has a 5000 hydrostatic head. I think this one only has a 3, but this one is a lot bigger and a lot lighter. So yeah, and I still do love the Vanguard, and it still will come out with me because there are situations where I want to use it. But this one for me is the best one. I love it. I absolutely love it. Loads of space inside. Big vestibule. I'm not going to talk about it any more than that because I've mentioned it many times on my other tents. But it's made by Forsat. And it was only £49 something, you know, I mean, so it's my favourite tent, and I wouldn't say it's the cheapest. My Fox One was about the same price, but I mean, Fox One's a glorified bivvy bag in it, so this is definitely crossed over into my favourite tent by a long shot for many different reasons. Watch my other videos and you'll see why I like it, because I don't want to keep going on about it too much on this video because I've gone on about it so much on the other videos. But it's just worth mentioning that it has crossed over to be my favourite tent out of all the tents I've got. It's become my favourite tent for so many reasons that you'll see on the other channels. I love it, absolutely love it. So I'm losing a bit of time and I'm losing the light, so I'm going to have to speed some of this up a bit. The next thing I bought from Temu was this life tent. Now that was under £2, so that's quite good. My mistake was thinking, because they don't show it on display, is that because of this material, that's what's inside. But no, what's inside is a green bin liner. That's what you get. And I was going to try and open it up today and have a look, see what sort of size it is, and try and make a little shelter out of it to see how feasible that is. But the bottom line is I've really lost the light, and I'm going to be fiddling about with it while it's still getting dark. So it's got a little whistle at the end. Used to. The idea was to bring that with me, because if my tent, if I forgot to, I mean, I sound silly, but if I forgot to pack my tent, I've nearly done it before. I remember getting it out on the floor in the living room, remembering there was something in my bedroom, and I went into, and so I took my rucksack into the bedroom to pack some stuff in there, and I just completely forgot it was in the living room. And I was about to leave, and I just caught it out the corner of my eye as I was leaving, so I nearly forgot to pack it, because in my head I kind of done that when I was thinking, what is that, everything? Because I remember getting out and putting it on the floor. In my head I'd packed it, or I dealt with it, and I forgot it was just sitting on the living room floor. So it is possible to forget your tent. Well, I mean, maybe not for you guys, but for this old fella it is. Or the tent could fail, get blown away, you could drop it, or, you know, crush it, or, you know, it's a possibility. So the idea is to carry that with me. It is being a bin liner, it is virtually no weight. It is really light. I don't know what it is, but it is really light. And at least I could, it comes with a, I didn't see it there, but it also comes with a cord, so you can sort of tie it to trees and stuff. So that would be, I was thinking of carrying it with me as a backup, or even if I just simply think the sun's in my face and it's doing my head in, I could sort of use it to tie it up and that. So I was going to actually bring that out and show you. Maybe I'll do that next time. The other thing was this. I never remember what they're called. I'm such an idiot. I've got one. It's not very good. I spent ages going on that and not getting a spark off it. This thing is really good. It's got a little cover on it there, and I don't know why it's got a little measure on there. That is actually you won't be able to see it. It's a ruler, so you can measure up to 5. I haven't got my glasses on. But anyway, you can measure it. So I'm quite sure you would be measuring there. So I wanted a better one, and that, believe me, is a better one, because I scraped it in big chunks of it. Big chunks of sparks are coming off. My other one, I was like, and that goes part with a kit in case my stove fails. I've got one of those little metal ones that you open up and you pop a tablet in the middle, and I've got a little, for Christmas I was given a little bag of man glitter. It's wood shavings, and they sort of give it to you as a joke, but I instantly thought, kindling. So it's a little bag of the wood shavings in there, and I can light it, and I can either have a little fire or try and get that little fuel tablet going for an alternative to if my stove fails. And it all packs down into something very small and very light and very easy to transport around. But and I had one of these and it was rubbish, so I bought one of them, and that under £2 is brilliant. It works perfectly, proper good sparks coming off of it, lovely. And the last thing was, I have a really big first aid kit, and I bought this again. Obviously these are all under £2, and I bought this to try and sort of condense it a bit, and I've just had a look, and it really doesn't really do that, because this is a lot taller and the other one's a lot flatter. The other one's got kind of like a bigger circumference, footprint, whatever you want to call it, but this is taller, so you're not really saving very much. When I put them next to each other, I thought, that's what it's going to look like when I've packed it with stuff, and actually that's quite big and chunky. The other one's a lot flatter, so I actually prefer the other one anyway. So I bought that, and although it's nice and compact, it is quite small, but it's not, it's once you get it and you look at it, it's and compare it, it's not quite what you think. But I might use it. What I was thinking of doing is putting I've got like I was thinking, either for the camper or for the tent, is putting the tea, coffee, drinking paraphernalia in it, because at the moment I haven't really got anywhere. I just shove it in pockets. I was thinking maybe that I've put all my drinking paraphernalia in it, even if it maybe even have it in the van and and the tent. So when it's in the van, use it in the van, and then when I pack for camping, just make sure I put that in there as well. So I was thinking that'd be actually quite useful, because I don't actually have anything to put all my drinking paraphernalia in. The last thing which I do want to show you, because the failing light doesn't really matter, was this set here is a lot smaller and a lot lighter than what I have been carrying. That's what I have been carrying, really heavy, really light, and this is smaller. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. I think it's going to be better, but there are some issues that I want to iron out, so I'll come back to that later. Good morning. Shh. Got neighbours, so I can't speak too loud. But I couldn't say goodnight last night because my battery went flat. I thought there's no problem, I'll change it for another battery. Put another battery in. That was not charged, so it was really late, so I thought, oh, you know what, I'll go to bed. So good night, good morning. There you go, made up for it. So my last piece of Temu today is the kettle that is weirdly shaped because it fits inside here. Now if this works, this would be really good, because at the moment, as I said, I carry this big chunky thing with me with a couple of pots and pans and what have you. If I only have to carry, so it fits inside this, essentially all I'm carrying is that size. If I can do that, then that's lighter and smaller and more compact. I prefer the bigger kitchen set because there's a lot more versatility. But on days where I want to travel lighter, because I've got a heavy tent, so I'm trying to make up for it, or on the days when my backpack's a bit full, I want to sort of save some space. If I can get away with that, job's a good one. The only problem I can see with this, being careful with it because I've got it full of water, the only problem I can see with this is obviously this. I think it's going to get hot. It won't go. So we'll see how that goes. And I don't like how loose this lid is. It's so loose. You just have to gently, and it's off. It's way bigger than the way it moves around. Way bigger than. don't think that's going to cause a problem, but just... So I'll fire it up and... Oh yeah, and I tested it out and it's only just big enough to fill that up. It's not a very big kettle, it comes to sort of there. So it doesn't actually give you a big drink. See how it goes. Yeah. Don't overfill it. The lid's having a fit. I can pick it up, it's hot, but not so bad that you can't pick it up. It is hot, but it seems to work alright. It cools down pretty quick. It was hotter than that initially. It's not coming out. I suspect it's the lid causing the suction. Yeah, take the lid off, it pours perfectly. Just about 1 cup. So it works. I did overfill it because I knew I need every drop of water in there to make a cup of tea. So I did overfill it, that's why I was spilling out. That wasn't really the kettle's fault. But I kind of like the fact that the lid was jumping around all over the place. It was almost like an indication that it's ready. So it worked, it boiled. It's clean as a whistle underneath still. No scorching or anything. It cools down super ultra quick. Bit of a weird shape. Finding a position to sit it on the stove was a bit fun, but no, it worked. It did the job. But if there's 2 of you, it's definitely a single person thing. If there's 2 of you, it's not big enough. But that's inside there perfectly. So I've got my saucepan, my lid, my cooker, and I can boil a kettle while I'm eating rather than using that and to clean it out and then use that again to boil the water for a cup, for a drink. You know, I've got that, cook, put the kettle on while I'm eating. So yeah, I'm liking it. I'm not going to bother testing this out. It's the same material as that, purely because the food I've got is the military thing where you put the whole bag in some water, so there's no need for that really. But it's the same material as the kettle, so it shouldn't scorch underneath like because the kettle hasn't. I keep dropping this lid, it's so loose. All I did was pick it up and the lid flew off. So it's the same material as that, so it's going to look like that. I guess the handle might have been an issue, but they have put a rubber thing on it, so I mean you could leave it on the stove, not have to touch it. So yeah, that's a plus. I'm liking that. That is definitely something to think about. All fits inside there nicely. There's a little lip around the top. I might just about get my stove in there as well. Probably have to put something around it, get some sort of band or something otherwise it's just all going to come off while you're traveling. Maybe get something to go around it. Other than that, it even has a measure in there. But a lot of things that you buy that are hydrated say put so much water in, and I've like had to guess. But it even has a, it's back to front there because you look at it from the inside. It even has a measurer on there as well, so you can measure out specific amounts. So yeah, it is really cheap. You can feel it's really cheap, but I think that'll work. And I think on the days where my pack is heavy, or I want to try and reduce some weight or some size in the pack, I think that is actually something I could seriously think about. I mean, it's the absolute minimum you need. I'm not a chef, so I only warm food up most of the time, so that would work. Just pouring it into that container to eat, and then the kettle for a hot drink. On the days I want to downsize, I think that would work. I think that's my kind of best buy. I think under £2 that was, so I think that's a good buy. It's raining this morning. It's been raining all night. We've had a heat wave for the last 4 or 5 days, and so I'm using my van floor as a table because I put everything away. Well, I thought while there's a break in the weather, I'm gonna put everything away, and so like everything doesn't get soaking wet. At the moment, it's stopped. All night it was not heavy rain. It was like a sort of a spray sort of hitting the tent. And when I got up this morning, luckily I did check the weather just before I went to bed, because I was thinking of leaving everything out, all my chairs out and tables out, and because the weather's been so nice, I was this close to thinking I'll just leave it out. But luckily I checked the weather, and it said it would rain about 6 o'clock in the morning. It actually rained more like 4 or 5. So luckily I checked the weather and thought, oh, better put it away. I'm glad I did, because I just threw everything into the van, closed the van, and it rained sure enough. So I'm glad I did that. And because the weather still looks a bit dodgy, I decided just to pack away all my outdoor stuff and just use the floor of my van as a table, so that all I've got is this chair, and then I can, if it does pour down again, I can just throw it in the van. I slept good though. It's a campsite, so a lot of noise from other people. I mean, I do stealth camping because I can't afford to keep camping at campsites all the time. And that's kind of purely the reason. It's just affordability. You're nipping into places and hunkering down for the night is free, so that's the only reason I do it. But it does remind me, coming in places like this does remind me of the other benefits. At 4 o'clock this morning, there was somebody screaming. I couldn't, because it's far away, but they're shouting so it's loud. I couldn't quite make out the reasons. It sounded like some daughter was having a go at her mum about something. She kept saying things like, you're supposed to be a parent, and you're so weird, and why are you doing this, and stuff like that. Don't know, but that's the stuff you deal with when you're hunkered in with 1,000 other people. And it does make you think, yeah, I know I did stealth because affordability, but actually it's much more peaceful. And I'm having to sort of this morning as well. And it's funny that even though you're stealth and you're trying to hide, you can actually be a lot louder than this. It's a bizarre, it's very counterintuitive to think that way, because it's made me realise that actually stealth is being quiet and trying not to be seen, but you can actually be a lot louder than you can when you're in a campsite full of other people, if you're trying to be respectful. There you go. I guess I'm too used to stealth camping, and when I come to places like this, it's only when I'm stealth camping I kind of think, oh god, I hate not having to be quiet all the time. And then when I come here, I kind of think, oh, I hate being amongst all these people. It's like this kind of, I don't know. Suddenly the stealth camping feels better, even though at the time you're thinking, god, I hate having to do this because it's just money. And suddenly it feels better. I don't know how obvious that was, because this camera doesn't pick up things very well very far away, but that was one of those really old VW campers. I didn't want to film it while he was right next to me because it's not very nice, but it took him like ages to get it started. It sounds awful. It's one of those really old 1950s or 60s jobbies. It looks like a lunchbox with wheels. It's not my cup of tea. I've got a camper van. I've got a camper van. I was looking inside it. It's really basic. There's nothing in there because it's from the 60s. There's nothing in there. There's barely just a radio in there. It sounds awful. It took him ages to get it started. It was like, and then when he started, a massive black cloud flew out the back, and it sounds really loud and noisy and smoky, and he's got like a ton of stuff on a roof rack, so it obviously isn't very big inside. There's only 2 of them, as a camper. So it's obviously something you've really got to love, innit? Because it's not very practical as a camper. Obviously there's not enough space inside it. It sounds awful, it sounds like unreliable, it sounds really loud, it sounds like the engine's on its way out. Yeah, there's no mod cons in it at all. Nothing at all. It's just a van, that's all you got. It's not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea at all. So it's obviously an area where you just love that van, regardless of its how difficult it is to own one and how impractical it is once you're out. But that's not a criticism, because if you love something, you love something. It doesn't matter what. If you really love it, you kind of put up with all those problems. It's just not my cup of tea. I've got my Ford Transit Custom. I love my heated seats and phone connectivity and all the other guff it's got, and it doesn't sound awful, and there's more than enough space. So it's kind of what I'd rather go for. But as I say, it's everyone has their own hobbies and passions, and with a lot of passions, you potentially forgo a lot of comforts or problems it causes because you love it. It doesn't matter, you love it anyway. I suppose camping is very similar. There's a lot of downsides to camping, but because you love it so much, who cares? Same thing, same principle. Right, I'm going to say goodbye now. I think this is a fairly quick one. It was mostly about trying out my Temu stuff, really. That's why I quickly nipped to a campsite. I wasn't even going to do one because I've only just done a van camp, which hasn't come out yet. I haven't edited it yet, but I've only just done a van camp, and I wasn't intending to go out again. I usually do sort of bang out one a week. I wasn't intending to go out again, so it was a quick last minute, campsite up the road, so I can just set up my tent and have a nice lovely camp and try out my Temus as well. So it was only a quick one. Normally I sit and rant about something because I enjoy that, but I didn't really do that, and it was a bit difficult to do that when they've gone now, which is why I'm so it's a bit difficult to do that when there's somebody like literally inches away from you, because it makes me self-conscious. I don't have a problem with talking when there's people about, when they're mind their own business, but every time I sort of open my mouth, they were like looking at what I was doing, and it kind of, then you're aware of that, and it kind of throws you off. There's a lot of stuff on this that I'm gonna just delete, because I was kind of, my mind was almost not on the job, because I could see them, you know, who's he talking to, what's he doing, and it was kind of annoying. I don't mind talking in front of people if they're sort of going about their business and not really looking. They may be listening, but as long as they're not staring at you, I don't really care. But they were kind of really nosy. They didn't speak to each other the whole time they were there. Me and my missus chat all the time, but they didn't really, they were only here for one night. They didn't speak to each other the whole time they were there, and it was almost like, because of that, they were looking for something else, someone else to grab their attention, take their mind off of the boredom or whatever they were experiencing. But anyway, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna sign off, and I'll see you in the next one. I was just about to say, the next one will be, I'm trying not to do that anymore, because every time I make it up as I go along. So every time I sort of think, I might do this next time, when that time comes around, I never do that. I do something else. And a lot of times I might even think beforehand where I'm going, and then I change my mind at the last minute because of this, that, and the other. So I'm not going to say what I'm doing next, but I will, obviously they will continue, because I love doing this so much. See you later.